Good afternoon. Before we get started, if we could, everybody bow your heads just for a moment of silence for Dawn, Caitlin, Ronnie, and Joshua, please. Thank you. Appreciate your time today, consideration coming out to this press conference. We're here to give you an update on the investigation, where it stands and where it's going. I'll introduce myself. I'm Sheriff Brian Miller with Mecosta County Sheriff's Office. I'll go down the line and introduce other individuals that are here that were all very prominent individuals in the events that took place on May 27th. And following it. This is Nicole Marshall. She's a victim advocate through the Mecosta County Prosecutor's Office. Jonathan Peterson, Chief Assistant Prosecutor with Mecosta County Prosecutor's Office. Chief Prosecutor Amy Clapp of Mecosta County Prosecutor's Office. Detective Sergeant Mike Moore of the Mecosta County Sheriff's Office. Detective Pete Fimbinger of the Michigan State Police. Johnny Daniels of Child Protective Services, Ashley Wheeler of Child Protective Services, Michelle Sprick of Child Protective Services, Mark Vermeer of Child Protective Services, Jennifer Orley of the Child Protective Services, Detective Tyler Haynes of the Big Rapids Department of Public Safety, Craig Johnson, Director of our Emergency Medical Services in Mecosta County, Chief Alan Southerby of the Morton Township Fire Rescue, and Chief Ron Palmer of the Mecosta Fire Rescue. We're here to speak about the traumatic events of that May 27th. Horrific day. When the call came in, myself and our undersheriff were at the office in a meeting. Call came in of shots fired and a male with a gun. Other units from our agency and the Michigan State Police quickly arrived on scene, with Undersheriff Williams and myself arriving shortly thereafter. I don't know if you can ever be ready for what we saw that day. 3 young lives. But I think it affected everybody that was there present that day. A lot of us have children of our own, and it was very hard for all of us. We've identified individual who also suffered from gunshot wounds to the head. He was transported to Mecosta County General Hospital through Spectrum, then transferred down to Grand Rapids before being transferred to University of Michigan Hospital. He continues to be there and is due to be released in the next couple of weeks. That individual in question is a Charles Gillard, 51 years old, of Austin Township, Mecosta County, Michigan. Gillard is the husband to Dawn Gillard, 40 years old. Dawn Gillard, 40 years old. And the father to Caitlin, Ronnie, and Joshua. In spite of the traumatic event that happened that day, every one of us standing up here came together to make a horrific situation the best that it could be. Worked as a team, supported one another, worked shoulder to shoulder, not only these people but some others also. I'll turn this over to Prosecutor Clapp. She can speak further on what the direction is going to be from their office.
Thank you. The Mecosta County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has issued charges against Charles Gillard for the deaths of Dawn Gillard and her 3 children, Caitlin, age 6, Ronnie, age 4, and Joshua, age 3, from an incident occurring May 27, 2022 in Austin Township, Mecosta County. Charles Gillard will be arraigned on the following charges. Count 1, homicide, open murder. Count 2, felony firearm. Count 3, homicide, open murder. Count 4, felony firearm. Count 5, homicide, open murder. Count 6, felony firearm. Count 7, homicide, open murder. Count 8, felony firearm. Count 9, child abuse in the first degree. Count 10, child abuse in the first degree. Count 11, child abuse in the first degree. Count 12, child abuse first degree committed in the presence of another child. Count 13, child abuse first degree committed in the presence of another child. Count 14, discharge of a firearm in a building causing death. And count 15, felony firearm. Each of the charged offenses, except for the felony firearm counts, are punishable by a maximum of life imprisonment. Felony firearm is punishable by 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment that might be imposed for the felony convictions. These are allegations and charges only. Charles Gillard is presumed to be innocent and will retain that presumption until he is proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. At Mr. Gillard's arraignment, the court will schedule a probable cause conference and preliminary examination. We expect that to happen in the next couple weeks as his prognosis with the University of Michigan is good. The Mecosta County Prosecuting Attorney's Office would like to thank the Mecosta County Sheriff's Office, the Big Rapids Department of Public Safety, the Michigan State Police, the Department of Health and Human Services, the Mecosta County Emergency Medical Services, the Morton Township Fire Rescue, and the Mecosta Fire Township Rescue for their work on this investigation so that we could issue these charges today. Thank you.
One person I do want to give some acknowledgement to, although we all did work together that day, is Detective Sergeant Moore, who was the lead investigator and continues to be the lead investigator in this case. A lot of hours, professionalism has been put into this investigation to make sure that turning it over to the prosecutor's office, they had the most thorough report that they could have. So I want to make sure that that's noted. We won't answer any further questions out of respect to the investigation, which is ongoing, but more importantly to me, to the family. The reason we called this today is so that we could do this as a whole. The family does not need to go through any further heartache than they already have. This concludes our press conference. We do appreciate your time. Thank you very much.